Molly. So again, we will start from here. Page number 51. The American laughed. I suppose you are thinking that I have stolen it. So the customer himself says, and he's laughing, and he says that, oh, I feel that you people are thinking that I have stolen the ring. Okay. Oh, no, sir, of course not, Mr. Rayner protested. Of course not. I do not suspect you, but when I report the matter to the insurance company, I shall have to inform them that I made a thorough search, even on you, sir, if you will excuse me. So Mr. Rayner is a very polite man because he is the owner of such a popular and such a famous jewelry shop. So he says that no, sir, you don't think that we are suspecting you. It's just that I will be answerable to the insurance company, so I have to make these searches. Okay, said the American, and went off quite cheerfully to Mr. Rayner's office, where Mr. Rayner searched through his clothes without finding any trace of ring. Okay, now see, the matter is getting more intense. Tension is being developed, and we are the readers are also getting very curious that where the ring went. If he was the thief, he was thoroughly searched, but the ring was not with him. So where did the ring go? Now see, another twist in the story. While this was happening, another customer came in. It was the young woman who had been looking at the funeral display in the undertaker's window for such a long time. Her coming in at this moment struck me as a rather strange. Okay, so this line also you underline. What happened? That in the meantime, all these activities were going on. Another customer came, and by the matter of chance, it was the same woman whom William Morris was observing from inside the shop. And this thing was rather strange for him. So his mind had started calculating that something or the other, something fishy is being going on. I looked at her across the counter and noticed several things. So again, he is observing things about her. You can mark as we read. Her handbag was an expensive kind, but it was old and worn and very shabby. The same was true of her clothes. Clearly, she had been well off once, but now she was living in poverty. So these are the details we get about the lady. She had not come here to buy anything. More likely, she had come to sell something. So this lady had come to sell something, and she was not very rich. Okay, not the type of a person who should enter this shop. She put her handbag down on the counter, and taking a little paper packet out of it, she put that down beside her bag. She used her left hand to do this, but strangely enough, she had not shown herself left-handed in anything that she had done before. So see how keenly he is observing. We might miss these details, but William Morris was really a keen observer. So he is saying that this lady walked in, and she was not into buying something, she was into selling something. And then she was a right-handed lady, but then while she took out the paper packet, she used left hand. So all these things the narrator is marking in his mind. I opened the packet and found inside it a piece of cheap jewelry, a filigree brooch with an imitation turquoise stone worth about 30 shillings. So it was just a silver brooch, and it was only about 30 shillings, and it was bluish green. Okay. Could you mend this for me? She asked, showing me the broken pin of brooch. I'm sorry, ma'am. I said, Reyners do not do repairs. So she just asked that, can you repair this? And he said that, no, ma'am, we are not into repairing things. Thank you, she said. Then, as if by accident, her arm somehow swept against the paper in which the brooch had been wrapped, and this fell to the floor on my side of the counter. I say as if by accident because, in fact, it was no accident at all. It was a cunning trick. Underline from here, I say as if by accident till cunning trick. So now this lady, she purposely dropped the paper on the floor on which on the side of the narrator, that is William Morris' side, and this was not an accident, it was a planned activity. Okay, that is why he says it was a cunning trick. I realized this as I bent down to pick up the paper. All the facts suddenly came together in my mind, in my head. So now see, you will find the things are related. I knew what had happened to the flower ring. So this man is quick enough to use his common sense and his intelligence, and he relates to the facts and join the incidents, join all the facts, and then he comes to conclusion. All the things that I had noticed joined to form a single picture, and that picture showed me all that I wanted to know. Underline this line also. Okay, I put the brooch back into its paper wrapping and handed it to her. She put it in her handbag using her right hand to do this, and then turned to leave the shop. So now he understood, but he still gave the paper, and then she used her right hand to keep it inside her bag, and then she was about to leave the shop. But then, one moment, ma'am, I said. She heard me, but she pretended she hadn't. She walked on towards the door. Pardon me, I said, but if you don't stop, I shall press the alarm and the door will be locked. So he requested her to stop there. She stopped, but she did not look around. Miss Susskind stood like a statue behind the other counter while I went up to the young woman. Madam, I said, we do not wish for any unpleasantness. Kindly hand me the ring which you have in the left-hand pocket of your coat. If you will not, Miss Susskind will press the alarm. So this man was so confident that, and he clearly pictured what had happened. He directly asked the woman to hand back the ring. Okay, otherwise she will land in trouble. The young woman was looking deathly pale and very frightened. Underline this line. So obviously, because she was caught red-handed, she became pale, her face became white, and she was utterly frightened, petrified. Okay, I felt sorry for her. Without saying a word, she felt it in her pocket, gave me the ring, and ran out of the shop as if the place was on fire. Because now she was caught red-handed, she just ran off the shop. It was then that Mr. Rayner came out of his office with the American, whose face was one big grin of satisfaction. Mr. Rayner was not smiling. He was as white as a sheet. His voice was shaking as he said, I am so sorry, sir. I hope that you will understand. And excuse me, I beg your pardon. Indeed, I do. So now that American also came outside, Mr. Rayner was there, and he was not looking happy. He was very sad. His face was also white, and American was smiling. It was then that I opened my hand and showed the ring. So now William Morris showed the ring to Mr. Rayner, and he was utterly happy. He was full of joy, and it is pity that you were not there to see Mr. Rayner's face. What a mixture of astonishment, joy, and thankfulness. So he tells the readers that it is sad that you all were not present to see his expression, but it was beyond words. He was really very happy. Okay, Molly, are you following?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As for that American, he was out of the shop that instant like a shot from a gun. So similarly, because he was also caught red-handed, he also ran out of the shop. How did you find it? Gasped Mr. Rayner, falling into a chair. And Mr. Rayner was full of surprise that because he did a thorough search on American, but he did not find anything. So he was very much full of astonishment that how did he found out. Then he tells the entire story, and at last you will also find that how carefully he has analyzed the facts. Well, I began from the first. That fellow seemed a strange customer for us. So you can go on marking first. Now the facts are joined together. At the very first place, the American was a strange customer. That type of American do not come as a rule. Okay, they want something more modern and showy than what we sell. Besides, he didn't know a thing about jewelry. So see how he has related the facts, and he didn't even know that what we sell. Okay, people who come to Rayner's know what they want, and they generally know something about antique jewelry. Okay, so this we have already discussed. He had no idea. The American had no idea about antique jewelry. And so I said to myself, why has he come to us? Okay. Right, quite right, said Mr. Rayner. That was very clever of you, William. So now, see, he is getting praised for his work, for his duty that he did for his for the company, for the shop in which he was working, and that is the reason he is getting praised by Mr. Rayner. And he says, right, you are very right. How clever of you. Very few people in such a situation will try to think the way you did. Okay, and it's only because he used his common sense and his wit. Okay, so Molly, up till here clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions to ask?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so how was the class?
It was nice, ma'am.
Okay.